right, let's move on. 219-845-1100. You're on with Nicki Quasney and Amy Sandler. Hey, what's up?
Good morning, all. Thank you for taking my call. God bless you girls for coming on the radio and making this point. I find it amazing in this day and age that the same right-wing policymakers who have handed this decision down at Fitness Point, which I think is a marketing mistake on a big scale, are the ones who are putting a lecherous pig like Herman Cain at the top of the presidential race on their side. I find it hypocritical and strange to me that these things are going on at the same time. I know for a fact that people in the region, by and large, have changed their views in the last few years, maybe by attrition, maybe by enlightenment. But the fact of the matter is, this is a family, and it's a wonderful family, and I think that the only thing that we can do is keep marching forward instead of looking back to the 1950s. Because frankly, things are going in the right direction, but it's a hard climb and a hard slog. But you guys keep up the good work and keep moving. There's a lot more of us that are with you than against you.
Yes, it is. Good morning.
Hey, Donald, I apologize for the wait that you had there. My producer is over setting up for a football game. Donald, tell us who you are.
My name is Don Sherfick, S-H-E-R-F-I-C-K. I think you mispronounced it slightly. That's okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. I'm a retired attorney in Indianapolis, former government federal attorney, and I'm currently vice president of an organization known as Indiana Equality Action, which advocates generally for the rights and against discrimination against gays, lesbians, and the entire LGBT community in Indiana. And my point, and Amy and Nicki, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Basically had to do with maybe one of those larger issues, and that has to do with something known as HJR 6, House Joint Resolution 6, which, if the Indiana General Assembly passes it again in November of 2014, it will be on the ballot and could become part of Indiana's Constitution. And the significance of that to this particular situation is, and let me read you the amendment really quickly. It would say, only a marriage between one man and one woman shall be valid or recognized as a marriage in Indiana. A legal status identical or substantially similar to that of marriage for unmarried individuals shall not be valid or recognized. Doesn't, by its terms, say anything about that this is the state or a state university like Purdue or Indiana that has domestic partnerships. And so there is a substantial question that it may mean that even private corporations like Fitness Point, so on and so forth, might not be able to do any kind of recognition like domestic partnerships, offer special discounts to family memberships, and so on and so forth. Right now, Amy is correct. I believe there's no law in Indiana that would compel the particular fitness spa to give these kinds of membership discounts. If HJR 6 were to pass, however, and if our friends at Fitness Point were to become a bit more enlightened here, which we would hope they would, come November 14th, 2014, if this should happen, if this should be approved by the people of Indiana, there's a very substantial question as to whether or not such a legal status such as this Illinois Civil Union could be used and recognized to justify and give such memberships. It's a can of worms. Eli Lilly and Company and a couple of other major employers were concerned enough about the impact on private corporations, such as they, on things like domestic partnership programs, that they came out in opposition to this amendment. So it's a serious issue. I think most people don't realize. They think it simply bans same-sex marriages and perhaps civil unions. This substantially similar language, who knows what it is? What does it really mean? And believe me, in other states, the proponents of this kind of amendment have said no problemo, don't worry about it at all. And then once it's passed, they go into court, like is currently going on in Wisconsin, and it did happen in Michigan also, and basically said exactly the same.
Don Sherfick is an attorney in Indianapolis, and he's talking from he's vice president of the Indiana Equality Action. They have advocated and lobbied for a number of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community issues. Also in the studio right now is Nicki Quasney and Amy Sandler. They are a same-sex couple out of Munster. They've been in the news recently concerning their attempt to be accepted by Fitness Point as a family for their family discount. Now, Don, just one quick question on this. Is anybody else doing this? I mean, is it just Indiana?
There are a number of states that unfortunately have adopted similar amendments. Some of them are identical to Indiana. Some of them are not. And like I say, in Wisconsin right now, which had the identical language, there's been an amendment adopted. The state legislature passed a very limited domestic partnership legislation, and the proponents are in court trying to get it knocked down.